So how did the home visit process come about? That was one of the most moments that was a huge awakening for me personally. Possibly the first or second year of Riverside, right? All of us, gung-ho, believing that we understood how children learn. And we had a little bit of this, I wouldn't call it arrogance, but this kind of feeling that we know it, right? We know that children need to play, and we know that children need to have sleep and physical exercise, and all of the should be done and has to be done was all in our vocabulary. And so in that same gusto, I remember speaking to my grade, who was just all of 7 years. I think they would have been 7-year-olds, and we were talking about what we do when we go back home. And one of my children, Zeel, actually told me, she said, "Okay, ma'am, I just go home and I don't go to play." And immediately my so-called naive hackles arose, and I said, "Oh my God, how can it be that children cannot go down to play?" And with that so-called righteous anger, I called up the mother and I said, "Peena, how can Zeel not go to play?" And she kind of smiled and she said, "Kiran ma'am, आप मेरे घर आ जाओ एक बार." She said, "Come home one day." And I, of course, and in my, again, righteous kind of stance, I went home. And I cannot tell you what humbling experience that was. I went home to my Zeel's house, and suddenly was encountered an entirely different reality of so many children. So here was my Zeel, who lived in this home that was, like in an apartment block which had shops at the base, and they lived on a really, really busy street where there was not even a single patch of green. And so all my Zeel had when she went home was that little, 6x6 piece of kind of ground which was just outside the lift, and she lived in a home that had 12 other members. And suddenly I realized, my God, children come to us in so many different stories. There are so many different realities. And I couldn't be more grateful to Peena to have called me to her home to let me understand that despite the fact that sometimes children don't necessarily have all what we call the material goods, or the fact that they are not necessarily having the resources or the playgrounds, etc., they still come wanting to learn. And that story of Zeel helped me understand her better, helped me understand that, how quick we are to label parents, children with our limited understanding, and then we start giving them stories that are not their true stories. So the home visit became a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for all of us to kind of get the more complete story, not only of the child, but also the parents, who really who do so much to have their children have an education. So the home visit was one of the most humbling experiences that I've had.